Hey everyone, welcome to this explainer. I'm honestly so pumped you're here today because we're looking at a truly fascinating framework from the 30,000 Day Blueprint. I want to introduce you to our whiteboard avatar, Productive Peter. Throughout this explainer, we're going to take a marker and literally draw out Peter's massive transformation. We'll look at his before life, that period where he was just surviving, stuck on pure autopilot, and we'll contrast it with his afterlife, where he finally figures out how to live with deep, deliberate intention.
Okay, let's just dive right into this. 30,000. Now, at first glance, that sounds like a pretty massive number, doesn't it? But here is a dramatic wake-up call for us all. 30,000 days is the average total human lifespan. That's it. That's your entire bank account of time on this earth. It is not infinite, and the clock is constantly ticking down. To really put that into perspective, if you happen to be 30 years old right now, you've already spent 11,000 of those days. Poof, they're gone. Erased from the whiteboard completely. You see, the absolute biggest trap of Peter's before life was this myth that he somehow had infinite time. In that old autopilot mindset, his days just blurred together into weeks, and those weeks bled right into years without any real thought. But asking yourself one simple question changes absolutely everything. Your past days are spent, so how exactly are you going to spend the rest?
So, let's draw out Peter's timeline to understand exactly why that blur happens. Think back to childhood. Remember how time felt incredibly slow? Like summer vacations felt like entire lifetimes. That's because everything was totally new. Your brain was just constantly engaged, recording fresh information. But look at adulthood. Our daily routines cause our brains to practically stop recording moments, which makes time absolutely fly by. Before you know it, bam, you arrive at age 90, which introduces what we call the Deathbed Test. When Peter looks back from age 90, what's actually going to matter? He has to evaluate his true priorities right now to avoid arriving at the end of that timeline filled with regret.
So here is an absolutely crucial realization. Productivity is not the same thing as mere busy work. In the before life, Peter would pack his day from morning to night with endless emails, pointless meetings, and reactive tasks, falsely convincing himself he was being highly productive. But the afterlife Peter, he knows better. He learns to ruthlessly eliminate the non-essential tasks that completely fail that age 90 deathbed test. He shifts his focus strictly to creating meaningful memories and doing work that actually moves the needle.
And how exactly does he stretch out his remaining time so it doesn't just evaporate? Well, it comes down to a simple, incredibly elegant formula. Introducing novelty equals more memories, which directly equals a longer life feeling. By actively throwing new things into his day, taking a completely different route to work, learning a new skill, or really just breaking out of a rigid daily pattern, Peter forces his brain to actively record moments again. You literally slow down your perception of time just by shaking up your routine. It's like a mental hack. Now, taking this intentional mindset into the professional world totally changes the game. We're moving from a linear ladder to a jungle gym. In his early career, Peter used to obsess over the immediate financial gain of climbing this very rigid, linear corporate ladder. Honestly, it was exhausting and totally unfulfilling. Now, he prioritizes learning over immediate cash. He treats his career like a sprawling jungle gym, willingly making sideways moves, exploring unconventional paths, and building a really unique combination of skills.
And that shift in mindset totally rewires how Peter handles his wallet, too. The draining before habit was completely centered around lifestyle inflation. You know the drill, buying more objects and expensive stuff just because his paycheck went up. But the after mindset flips the script entirely. He realizes that money is ultimately about achieving freedom, not just hoarding numbers in a bank account. So Peter stops buying objects and shifts his resources to buying experiences, which, as we saw earlier, creates those rich, life-extending memories.
But listen, living this intentionally, it takes serious fuel. You can't just manage your schedule. You have to actively manage your energy through key multipliers. Health really is your ultimate life force multiplier. Peter prioritizes sleep because it dramatically improves his daily decision-making. He throws in quick micro-workouts throughout his day for sudden bursts of physical energy. And crucially, he intentionally designs his physical and digital environments to lower decision fatigue, literally saving his precious willpower for the important tasks that actually pass that deathbed test.
To level up his decision-making even further, Peter upgrades his brain with an incredibly powerful mental model. Second-order thinking. Most folks stuck on autopilot just ask, well, what happens next, right? That's first-order thinking.
But second-order thinking requires asking, okay, but what happens after what happens next? By forcing his brain to look past immediate, knee-jerk reactions, Peter stops just collecting isolated facts and begins to truly understand the deeper patterns driving his life and his work. It's a real game changer.
And that same intentional thinking applies directly to relationships too. In the old autopilot life, we kind of get tricked into thinking relationships require these massive, rare, big gestures, like incredibly expensive vacations or grand, sweeping apologies. But if you start treating your relationships like a bank account, you realize the truth. Small, consistent daily deposits, a quick, thoughtful text, an engaged conversation over a cup of coffee, just being truly present. Those vastly outperform the rare big gestures over the long run.
When it comes to building out a broader social ecosystem, Peter's whole approach completely shifts. He doesn't just awkwardly collect business cards or contacts. Instead, he acts as a hub to connect other people. He builds a supportive community and authentic friendships long before he ever needs to ask anyone for a favor. And here is a fantastic, surprising fact straight from our source material. You should highly value your weak ties. It turns out that mere acquaintances, people who are slightly outside your core circle, they often bring the absolute best and most unexpected opportunities right to your doorstep. Now, obviously, interacting with the real world means dealing with conflicts. Enter the 90-second emotion rule. This is fascinating. Step 1. When something goes horribly wrong, you get about 90 seconds of a chemical emotion, like pure anger or frustration, flooding your nervous system. That's just biology. You literally can't stop it. But step 2? That is the conscious choice to regulate yourself and remain calm. Think about the utter absurdity of letting a fleeting 90-second chemical burst ruin your next 3 days. Once those 90 seconds pass, staying angry is a choice, and it's a choice Peter flat out refuses to make. He chooses calm.
Moving over to intellectual growth, Peter taps into a brilliant shortcut known as the teacher effect. If you really want to learn a complex topic insanely fast, the absolute best method is to turn around and teach it to someone else. It forces absolute clarity. Alongside this, Peter accelerates his personal growth by reading biographies, which lets him learn from the painful mistakes of others rather than making them all himself. And importantly, he embraces strategic quitting. He drops projects, habits, or paths the very second they no longer serve his long-term growth.
So what about his creative output? Well, the intentional stickman embraces a totally counterintuitive rule. Constraints actually fuel creativity. He doesn't sit around waiting for endless resources, limitless budgets, or, perfect inspiration. And most importantly, he doesn't judge his own work while he's in the middle of creating it. He embraces constraints as a tool, and he happily lets the bad ideas flow out first. Sweeping all those bad ideas onto the whiteboard without judgment is exactly how you clear the mental pipes and unblock the truly brilliant ideas hiding right behind them. So all of this builds into the ultimate transformation of the Stickman life design. Just look at this total shift from the before life to the afterlife. Instead of exhausting himself trying to draw up these flawless, perfect plans, Peter now runs a series of small experiments. Instead of rigid time management, his focus has completely shifted to energy management. And instead of drifting through his days on autopilot, he actually sits down to conduct monthly reviews. By tracking his progress and course-correcting regularly, he ensures he always stays aligned with his true priorities.
Your own whiteboard is totally clean right now, which leaves us with one final, deeply provocative question. What are you going to do with your next day? You've got an average of 30,000 days. You've seen the difference between the blur of the before life and the clarity of the afterlife. You have the blueprint for intentional living right in front of you. So I think it's time to pick up the marker and reclaim your intentional life.
Hey everyone, how are you? I'm fine. I am new on YouTube. Please support me on YouTube. Subscribe my YouTube channel. I need your support. Thank you. Subscribe my YouTube channel.